If you can learn whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you can truly learn how to tap into your motivating factors, how you can make yourself a better individual in the gym, or a better individual at home, or in any aspect of life. So we have this common notion that an introvert is just a quiet person and an extrovert is a loud person. And the reality is it's a lot deeper than that. So I'm going to break it down in this video because once you know how you operate, you'll be able to tap into a whole new world of success. Now, it's that time of year. Everyone's talking and thinking about gifts. So what about giving yourself the gift of an Audible membership this year? So I just listened to a book on Audible called Quiet. Okay, this book was written by Susan Cain. Now, the interesting thing about Quiet and what intrigued me about Quiet was I always thought that I was an introvert. See, I'm the kind of person that doesn't really want to go to a party. I'm the kind of person that doesn't want to be around a large group of people. So I just assumed that that meant that I was an introvert. But upon listening to this audiobook, I learned a whole lot of things. I learned that being an introvert is a lot more than just being a quiet person. Being an introvert means that you're someone that processes information while you're in the quiet or while you are secluded. It means that you process things in a slower, more methodical way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're super quiet and reserved, and it definitely doesn't mean that you don't like people. It just means that you have a specific way in which your brain operates. So, for example, if you take someone that is maybe a loudmouth, someone that just likes to talk a lot, someone that really likes to explain and vocalize all the crazy stuff that's going on in his or her life, good and bad, you would automatically assume that that's an extrovert, right? Well, not necessarily. That person might literally just like to socialize and like to explain things, but deep down, they might be someone that really likes to process things when they're in the quiet. And one of the things that helped me discover what my motivating factors were was when I took a look at what exhausts me and what stimulates me. So, for example, when I go to a party and there's a lot of people, it drains me, okay? It drains me. It makes me extremely exhausted. Whereas another person can go to a party and they can be totally invigorated. They can absolutely be energized by all the people around them. That's a classic instance of an extrovert, okay? So when I look at that, I think, wow, I'm an introvert because being around people exhausts me. But it doesn't necessarily end there. You see, because you have to look at what actually drives you and gives you energy when you're alone. Sometimes being an extrovert means being able to just simply talk out loud or talk to one person and process and articulate things in a certain way. So an example of this would be, do you get motivated by amping yourself up? Like if you're driving to the gym, do you listen to music? Do you amp yourself up? Do you sing along? That is an extroverted tendency, even though you're doing it in an independent way. However, if I were to drive to the gym and I were to be blaring music and singing along with it, and I was also in the car with 17 other people, I would be exhausted by the time I got to the gym. So what I discovered from listening to this book is that you can be what is called an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert. You don't have to possess all the qualities, but what you do have to possess is what the underlying mechanism within your brain is when it comes down to processing complex things. So for me, I'm someone that would much rather just be a lone wolf. But when it comes down to processing problems and actually problem solving, I find that I do better articulating it and explaining it to somebody. So I have extroverted properties, but I'm also an introvert. Now, where everything becomes confusing is that we've created this extrovert ideal, and the book Quiet talks about this a lot. This extrovert ideal is all about setting this form that we should always be extroverts. You know, from the time that we are small children, we're taught that the kid that stands up in class and talks is the perfect kid, and that's what we should model like. We all want to be the big, loud rock star. We want to be the guy that's on the podium. We want to be all this stuff. We have set forth an extrovert ideal telling us that if we're not that loudmouth, or if we're not that person that wants to be in power, then we're worthless. When in reality, you look at people like Bill Gates, you look at people like Steve Jobs, Rosa Parks, all these people that have made big movements, Mother Teresa, okay, these are introverted people. They're quiet. Gandhi, another perfect example. Okay, he was passive, and some people take introverts as weak, when the reality is a lot of times they're just passive people that are processing things in power in a different way. So this extrovert ideal is what's really messing us up. And when I read this book, or when I listened to it rather, it taught me that, hey, maybe I'm not dysfunctional just because I'm quiet most of the time. Maybe it's the fact that this is just how I process things. For example, people would think that I'm an extrovert when they watch me on video because I'm good on camera. But the reality is, talking to a camera is like talking to one person. I'm talking to one lens, and it's being magnified out to thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. This is perfect for someone like me who likes to articulate and likes to explain in an extroverted fashion, but still gets the comfort of my sort of introverted nature. So I encourage you to listen to this book and learn how you can find your key motivators. It's changed how I look at my workouts, it's changed how I look at my warm-ups, it's changed how I look at my family, all from listening to one audiobook. So when it comes down to utilizing Audible, as an Audible member, you can choose 3 titles every month. So you can pick 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals that you can't hear anywhere else. Plus, your books are yours to keep. So with Audible, you can go back and you can re-listen anytime, even if you cancel your membership. Don't like your audiobook? Just exchange it, no questions asked. So right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. That's more than half off the regular price. You're just gonna go to audible.com/sixpack, that's SIXPACK, or you're gonna text the word SixPack, SIXPACK, to the number 500-500. Again, audible.com/sixpack, or text the word SixPack to 500-500. It's not always practical to sit down and read a book, realistically. The nice thing about Audible is you can go ahead and you can put it on 2x speed and you can fly through the book as fast as you want to. For me, when I'm driving and I don't have a whole lot of time, I like to put it on that 2x speed so that I can just consume information, get an education in the fastest amount of time possible at the rate of speed that I feel like my brain is working at that point in time. So make sure you capitalize on this and go check out the book Quiet. Give it a listen and learn what your extrovert or introverted nature is. I'll see you in the next video.